Thank you for remembering. There were two of them, Andrew and somebody else who was unnamed. And whose gospel was it? John. Remember the readings from yesterday? I heard one of you read the first reading yesterday. Now, the gospel yesterday was from the book of John, John chapter 1. Guess who the other disciple was? John. John, brother of James. So John and Andrew, both disciples of John the Baptist, but it was Andrew who approached Jesus. We want to see where you're staying. To which Jesus replied, come and see. Come and see. And the deep meaning of that is this. I am the master of the law. I gave the law. I will teach you the law. A 10-hour, 10 commandments. Very deep meaning. I had to read a lot to get to this. That's how I found out about this also. I said, I want to share that. It's very interesting. I've never heard of anyone teach whose wedding was it, a wedding at Cana. Probably the same thing with you, right? It's the first time you heard, whose wedding was it? And why would Jesus and Mary be there? It's his first cousin. That's the nephew of the Blessed Mother. If your close relative is getting married, aren't you invited? Same thing.
I thought Simon is the one who's the groom.
Yeah, in that wedding. Nephew of Saint Joseph. Because the father of Simon was Cleopas, who was the brother of Saint Joseph. That's the same Cleopas who was on his way to Emmaus. That's the same Cleopas. Very interesting. The same Cleopas who was walking, who didn't recognize Jesus. They were walking towards Emmaus. Okay? So that's Sunday. Now, don't forget that they were disciples of John the Baptist first. It was worth the wait, definitely. John the Baptist says, the one who is to come after me, I'm not even worthy to untie the shoes, right? The sandals. What are you looking for? We want to see where you're staying. Why would you want to see where someone is staying? What will you find out? What will you discover when you see where someone is staying?
How he conducts his life.
Exactly. You see the life, this person. And the reply was quite astonishing. Come and see. Come and see. But Jesus just didn't want to show them just physically where he was staying. He wanted to share with them his life. He wanted to share with them the law. In other words, this is the fulfillment of what Jesus was saying. I didn't come to abolish the law. I came to fulfill. That's the very meat of the gospel yesterday. Not abolish. I didn't come to abolish that. I came to show you the law. I gave you the law. I know the law. I will teach you the law. Only God can do that. I didn't come to abolish. I came to fulfill. Now you can connect the dots. I don't know about you, but I see it very compelling. Very compelling. Especially knowing small details like this, how you can connect. Again, by saying he is the bridegroom, Israel was the bride, and all the believers, Jews and Gentiles, he's saying, I am God. Because throughout the Bible, the bridegroom is God. The joy of the bridegroom, should Christians fast? Remember, this is the story where why are your disciples not fasting? The disciples of John the Baptist fasted. And why would they fast when they have the bridegroom with them? That's this story, Mark chapter 2. That's the gospel today. So Jesus says, well, in time, the bridegroom will be taken away from them, then they will fast. Behold, I make all things new. That has to happen. Last week we were talking about the gifts. Remember the gifts? Frankincense and myrrh and gold. And what each gift signified. Myrrh. It's very awkward to give a newborn baby burial ointment. Today is very awkward. But that's happened. Because he's destined to make all things new. By his passion, by his suffering, by his death on the cross, and by his rising from the dead. Tuesday. This is so beautiful. Bottom line of Tuesday's gospel. When Jesus asked the question to the Pharisees, is it unlawful to do good on Sabbath? The problem is, with the Pharisees, they buried the essence of the law, and on top of it, they put man-made laws. They put man-made laws. According to 613 man-made laws in the book of Deuteronomy, we cannot do this, we're going to do that on Sabbath. But what happened to the very, what are the two greatest commandments of God? Love God above all and love your neighbors, right? As yourself. Or as God or as Jesus loves you. They forgot those two greatest commandments. And instead, they buried it, and on top of it, they put, you cannot do anything, you cannot shop, you cannot cook, you cannot flip the switch. Those minor things. That's why Jesus was he was very vocal about it. You hypocrites. You have so many man-made laws, book of Deuteronomy, 613 of them, forgetting about the two basic commandments of God. Matthew chapter 5 talks about what? The Beatitudes. Beatitudes shows us what? The way to live. The way to live. The Matthew chapter 5 covers the spirit of the Lord. That's the spirit of the Lord. Blessed are the poor in spirit and all those. Right? So that's the spirit of the Lord. The problem with the Jews and the Pharisees is they're so concerned about the letter of the law. Which one is more important? The letter of the law or the spirit of the law? Or spirit of the law. They're so engrossed with the letters of the law, forgetting about the spirit of the law. And that spirit of the law is loving God above all and love your neighbor. Because to them, these are offerings for God. I don't care if you're hungry, you cannot touch that. But how is that? Where's the love? You understand? That's what happened. Even David in the Old Testament. He runs at them. What are you doing? They're hungry. Let's go get the food. This is only for the priests and the Levites. No. It's for the hungry. And he took them and gave it to the hungry folks. Letter of the law versus spirit of the law. Sometimes you're reminded also Remember the veil? You used to wear a veil. Did you remember that time? Did you have veil before?
Yes.
Did you ever own one?
Yes.
You did too?
I did.
Oh, you're young. You did?
My father would not let me go in.
What did you do? You threw it away?
No, I still have it.
You still have it, but you don't wear it.
How come you certain times?
Because those are small t traditions of the church. Traditions of the church are small t. Those change. Those things change according to time.
Somebody bought me as a gift from Spain one.
Oh, that must be beautiful.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah. It is.
What you do is you wear that, and then you have a little fan.
So warm.
That's a typical one. That's typical. I remember when I was small. And then I would wait until they kneel down. They kneel down. I would lie down on the seat. I would stretch out and sleep. And my mother stands up. The essence of Tuesday's Gospel tomorrow. Again, Mark chapter 2. What is unlawful on the Sabbath? To do good? Doing good is never unlawful anytime. You understand? Remember my story? I was driving towards going to church, and this old woman, she obviously had difficulty walking. She was walking slowly, and I forgot what she had. And that really struck me big time. Up to now, I can never forget that. But I was running fast. I was speeding. I was speeding. And I was calculating in the back of my head, and then I still saw her at the back mirror, and I continued. And when I got to the church, I turned around and went back, but I couldn't find her anymore. That must be God. That's a big misgiving on my part. Is it an excuse? I'm going to Mass, so I cannot fetch anyone.
Is it like the story of the Good Samaritan?
Yeah. I was like a priest or Levite. Sometimes it's hard to blame them. Maybe they had a doctor's appointment. Maybe they had work to go to. For them to stop by. But that's a clear illustration of this. Is it not good? Is it not good? I'm going to Bible class. I cannot go to New Street. I'll be late. The car is stuck. I have to take the bus. Someone didn't come. I came with 2 heavy bags, and somebody said, "Hurry up! The bus is coming." Is it ever unlawful to do anything on Sabbath? What's the big deal? Listen, it's always good to do good, regardless of time.
True.
That's what Jesus is saying here. It's never unlawful to do good. I don't care what time, what day is it. But that's precisely what the Jews are guilty of. You cannot do even good on Sabbath. Just do nothing during Sabbath. I don't know if they go to the bathroom on Sabbath.
And if they do,
I still have to find out. I have to ask them.
come on.
Unless they ask somebody to do it for them. You have to say something.
No.
Oh,
And if they do, then what?
You believe so? Did you ask them?
I don't know. I've never done one.
Alma has a friend who lives with Jewish family like that. I have to ask her.
It's Orthodox.
Yeah.
Orthodox Jews.
Remember my story? They let the house burn instead of flipping the switch or turning off the stove. Is there sense in that? That's what Jesus is saying here. You have to seek to win the enemies. Do good. That's why he says, I am Lord of the Sabbath. I am Lord of the Sabbath. So don't worry about the Sabbath. Continue to do good, regardless of time and day. Wednesday, to do good or evil. You know whose day? The Pharisees. The Pharisees were watching him closely. Whatever he would say, whatever he would do. Let's see if he would do something about this leper, this blind person on the Sabbath. What's wrong? You know, I was reading the precepts of the church about this. Do you know that it's a sin, according to what I read, it's a sin to work for an employer during the Lord's Day. That is quite mind-boggling to me. I have to search on it more. Did you hear that? It is sinful to work for an employer during the Lord's Day. So if you're doing something and getting paid for it on the Lord's Day, it's sin according to what I read. But I'm not absolutely positively sure because that was one of the things that are not allowed to do on the Lord's Day.
You mean on Sunday, working for someone else on Sunday?
That's what I read. But I will clarify that in the Mondays to come.
But if you attend church, you're serving God first, and your job, let's say Mass is at 10, and
Right.
you start at 3.
Right.